Hi guys, I'm Kelly from Chestnut Junction, and we specialize in primitive crafts and sewing. You can shop with us at chestnutjunction.etsy.com. If you are watching this on the replay or on YouTube, you can feel free to go ahead and scooch forward a little bit while I wait for some of our followers to join on so we can do tonight's tutorial. So we will be working tonight on a snowman ornament, and we will have a free download for you. The producer will put up that download for you here shortly to do the snowman ornament. And there it is. So if you want to go ahead and download that pattern sheet and follow along with us tonight while we do this snowman ornament. Hello, Miss Kathy. Hi, Tamara. Good to see you. Hope everybody had a good day. We had a very busy day here, and our internet went down, and that made it really hard because I had orders to go out, and I couldn't get my labels printed because our printer... Hi, Janet. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Sandra. Our printer's wireless, so whenever our internet went down, I couldn't print out the labels. So I had all my stuff packaged up and sitting there waiting for labels. So it was like 4:45, and the post office closes at 4:30, so it was like 4:45 whenever the internet finally came back up. Hi, Carrie. And I'm just buzzing like a bee trying to get all of those packages weighed and done, you know, the labels on them and everything. Needless to say, I didn't get all of them done. Got the majority of them done, but I didn't get all of them done. So tonight, we will be working on a snowman ornament. Utana, am I saying that right, Utana? I don't want to say your name wrong and mess that all up. But we're gonna do a snowman ornament tonight. He's a pretty simple guy to do. We have our pattern sheet here with the snowman body and his wings. And we went ahead before we came on and we sewed our snowman together. And what we did, if you're not familiar with it, we cut out the snowman body. We cut it out. We used a water-soluble Mark Be Gone pen. Hi, Christine. And we traced it onto our doubled muslin. It's doubled. We just traced around that pattern piece, and then we sewed all the way around. We didn't leave an opening because I'm going to cut an opening on the back to turn this. Oh, thank you. This is the water-soluble pen Mark Be Gone that we used. Hi, Francine. To trace that on there. And if you're not familiar with the water-soluble pen, that is a disappearing pen that will, the line will your sewing trace line will disappear once it gets wet. We do carry these in our Etsy shop, and that's chestnutjunction.etsy.com. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the pins from our snowman, and then we're going to get him cut out. If I can get the pins open. There we go. All right. So we're just going to cut out around the edge of our snowman body here and allow a 1/4 inch fabric seam. And whenever I cut up in between the legs, and I do this on most things, I don't exactly cut like up and around. I'll just cut a slit. That way you're not compromising the strength of those seams there between the legs, because that's an easy place to blow out a seam whenever you have two pieces that are cut that close together. So now we're going to just snip around the edge of our seam allowance, and be careful not to snip through that sewn line. And if you would happen to snip through that sewn line, just take it back to your sewing machine and do your best, possibly, to try to repair that seam just by sewing over that blue trace line again. Hi, Katie. I know I've had people, I'm gonna have to look up, somebody suggested Telegram, because they said they hadn't been getting their live notifications. But we do go live between 6 and 7 on Monday and on Thursday. So right now I'm just going to snip a slit on the back of the snowman body to turn it inside out. That's what our slit looks like. Hey, cat. So now we're turning him inside out. You've received all of the other notifications except for tonight? I've also, did you guys get that emergency update alert? Hi, Jane. The other day, on your phone, because I've had several people tell me that Facebook has been acting persnickety ever since that emergency phone update. Hey, Miss Donna. The kitties are doing well. Mooch snuck in the house last night. Hi, Michelle. So he went downstairs and hung out for a little bit, didn't really do anything. And the other cats, sat up here at the top of the steps and watched him. And then finally he came up and just wanted back out the door. But he keeps, showing up every day with that. It looks just like him. It's another cat, looks just like him, except where Mooch is black, this cat is orange. You don't receive notifications. Make sure you are following our Chestnut Junction page, because I know you can like it, but make sure you're actually following the Chestnut Junction page so you get those notifications whenever we go live. But somebody did suggest to me using Telegram, and I don't know if I have to get you guys to sign up to get Telegram notifications. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna have to look into that. And tonight I'm using Morning Glory stuffing to stuff our snowman. And I'm not gonna I'm not gonna snuff him out. I'm not going to stuff him really firm, because it's supposed to be an ornament, and I just, that's what I wondered, Carrie. I wondered if that orange kitty is not a litter mate. But we're thinking it's a female. You had to keep going to our page today to get the live? Yeah, I'm not sure. I have been told that you have to make sure that you follow the page, not just like it. You have to follow it to get the notifications. But if you were getting notifications before and you're not getting notifications now, I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, Luis is saying that they got the notification. That's a good price, Marcy. Hi, Miss Vicky. Yeah, Barb says it's happening to other pages too. Yeah, that's, somebody told me ever since that emergency thing went out with the phones that Facebook has been acting peculiar. I think I actually need to get another box of stuffing. Not the, I just got a new box of polyfill, but I think I need more of the Morning Glory. And if you guys haven't downloaded your pattern sheet yet, the producer can put that up there for you. We are doing a snowman ornament. So he's got his body and his wings. No, I have not, Barb. Oh, thank you, Michelle. The only time I've ever had problems with the with that blue disappearing pen, and I can't say it's really a problem, is whenever you use white paint. But any other time that blue pen comes out very well. I hope it turns out well, Miss Pamela. The producer and I just kind of drew it up and designed it. Hey, Miss Karen, how are you? The producer and I just, you know, drew up this pattern before we came on. Today was just crazy busy. Oh, thank you, Pamela. It's just like every day, you know, whether or not you've been following me and know, but, you know, my mom was diagnosed with terminal cancer back in May, and we've got her to appointments, you know, all the time. And then I'm always having to make phone calls for her and try to keep things managed. Hey, Melinda. So usually I have to do that every day. And then today the internet went down. Hello, Mr. Producer. Do I look like I need water? Or I sound raspy?
Make sure you're good.
Awesome, Luis. Thank you, Karen. And then my aunt and uncle were supposed to come up next Tuesday, and then I got a phone call last night that they can't come up because now he's in the hospital with pneumonia. So it's just, hey, Christina. It's just been kind of crazy around here. Hey, Cindy. Awesome, Jane. Oh, thank you, Donna. Are you, Miss Barb? Nice. I think we've got that stuffed pretty darn well. So I'm going to sew it together. We had the windows open all day because it's been nice outside. And now this window over here is still open. And the wind is starting to pick up and it's getting chilly. Yeah, the producer can put up that that link again. So I'm going to use a single strand of crochet thread. And I do believe it is the number 10 crochet thread. And we usually buy Aunt Lydia's. Hi, Nancy. So we're just going to sew that seam shut.
Is that too chilly?
It's chilly. Can you even get to the window?
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you, my dear.
You're freezing.
You don't want me freezing in here? We are making a snowman ornament. The producer came in and shut the windows. He must have seen the icicles on the end of my nose. Miss Karen, I normally get my crochet thread, I think, at no, Joann's. It's Joann's. Oh, thank you, Pamela. Joann's did have oh, Donna. I liked going live every night, believe it or not, but I was getting so behind on everything else. So I've got that stitched together on the back. But I say, Miss Karen, I don't know if they still are, but Joann's was having the crochet thread on sale. And I think you can order it online. But after I get it stuffed, I just like to come in here and give him a good massage to work that stuffing around. And I always tell myself that they like it too. They like that good massage, you know, to loosen them up. So I'm trying to figure out if I want to paint this guy white or if I just want to leave him natural. You couldn't find Aunt Lydia at Hobby Lobby. It could have been her day off. Maybe we don't get it there. I'm not sure. I know they have it at Joann's. Yeah, it was either Aunt Lydia's day off or she got fired or something at Hobby Lobby. What do you guys think? You think I should paint this or leave it natural? Hi, Karen. I'm making a snowman. Paint it. Hit the heart button for paint it and hit the like button for don't paint it. You never know where you are going to run into Aunt Lydia. I mean, she's a recluse. She was probably drinking on the job at Hobby Lobby, yeah, and got in trouble. I don't know. I'm seeing more hearts to paint. So hit that heart button to paint it. Hit the like button to not paint it. Cindy, you found her at your mom's? Oh my gosh, how did she get there? I'm seeing a lot of hearts. I don't know what to do. I'm seeing more hearts. And Miss Betty Kerner, she says tea stain it. And I think I have coffee stain. We'll go ahead and paint it. We will paint it, see what it looks like. Yeah, Aunt Lydia, you can't trust her. She's always getting into trouble. Vicky. Vicky, you need to, like, maybe you can invite her to stay for a little bit so we don't have to, like, watch her all the time. True, Marlene. All right, gonna grab a paintbrush. I like to add just I think Aunt Lydia would probably bring her own alcohol. Let's see. I like to water my paint down just a tad. I do. I know I've gotten some messages that people say they don't like that look, which is perfectly fine. But I like to add a little bit of water in my paint because it just makes the paint go a little bit more smoothly across the fabric. I'll come visit you, Pamela. One of you can have me for Thanksgiving and the other for Christmas. Hey, Miss Renee. Cool. Okay, so now I'll have to tell the producer we have a place to go for Thanksgiving and a place to go for Christmas. Oh, and a place for Easter. Awesome. Isn't it crazy? Next month is Thanksgiving already. Good grief. And the last couple years, you know, like you guys really care, but the last couple years, I haven't even cooked a whole turkey. Oh, you're going to Florida for Thanksgiving? How awesome is that? I would love to go to Florida for Thanksgiving. I mean, we have family that live in Florida. But I was going to say, I don't even cook a big turkey anymore. I get those, I think they're butterball, and they're called turkey roast. And they're about that big. And I'll cook three or four of those, and they're solid meat, like no bones. And it's called a roast. It's like not a turkey breast. It's called a turkey roast. And those are very good. And they're easier and a lot less cleanup. The older I get, I don't want to mess as much. Like we always used to make homemade, yeah, we've gotten that before too, just the turkey breast. But the older I get, I don't feel like goofing anymore. And I'm sure that's probably how a lot of people feel. But like we used to make homemade stuffing, I get the stovetop anymore. I still make homemade mashed potatoes. And I make really good sweet potato casserole. I mean, my sweet potato casserole is so rich, I think you gain 5 pounds just looking at it. It is very good. Because I'm not one for I'm not one for pumpkin pie. I like pumpkin cake. Really? Like, what kind of food do you make, Barb? It does take a lot of time to cook. And then by the time you sit down, you're so tired, you know, where I'd rather like spend time with family and enjoy that than have all that time in the kitchen.
Wash that yet?
Sure. Yes, thank you. That sounds good, Barb. I like Mexican food, but it doesn't like me very much. Nice, Karen. That's what we've been doing for Easter for the past couple of years. Is we always used to have ham, but it's just easier to make a lasagna. Well, that's good because I can't, yeah. Me and spicy don't get along. Thank you. Yeah, I think that happens the older you get too. You can't eat spicy food anymore. Actually, I haven't been able to eat spicy food since I had my gallbladder out. But the producer, he makes the best deviled eggs. And he always, when he came into the family, he always made his deviled eggs at Easter. So my family, over the years, has convinced the producer that he needs to make deviled eggs for every single holiday. And I've said too that my grandmother wound up suffering from dementia and Alzheimer's. So probably like the last 5 or 6 years that she was alive, every time we would get together, we'd have these deviled eggs. And the poor soul, she thought every holiday was Easter, because of the dementia and Alzheimer's. So, because she couldn't get her own plate, so we'd get her plate 4, and she loved the deviled eggs. But she would sit there and talk about the Easter Bunny and wish everybody happy Easter, no matter what holiday it was. I feel bad for her, but it was cute. Is that your lasagna recipe, Karen? You do, Marlene? Thanks for stopping by, Miss Donna. Hey, Nicole. Yeah, I'm not Italian. I don't know if we make lasagna the right way. Oh, I gotta say this too. Where we lived several houses ago, we lived next door to Italians, and we made spaghetti, one night, and the producer, he put sugar in his spaghetti sauce. So, the neighbors had some of our spaghetti, and it had the sugar in it, and ooh, no, you, don't do that. He was just he's like, this is not spaghetti, not spaghetti sauce, because it had the sugar in it. Cottage cheese in your lasagna? We do cottage cheese and ricotta. And some egg. We put spinach in there, garlic. Oh yeah, we put sugar in ours. It's yummy. But our neighbor said, no, that is not Italian gravy, is what he said. I'm Irish, what do I know? Yeah, it looks like a lot of you put sugar in your sauce. Hey, Alicia. All right, so we've got our guy painted here. And do you think hand-stitched buttons down the front, like, you know, I can hand-stitch some black dots down the front, or some actual buttons? So hit the heart button for real buttons, and hit the like button for me to stitch them on. Hey, Susan. Ooh, macaroni and tomato sounds good. Seems like you guys are going more on hand stitch. Oh. So hearts for the real buttons and likes for stitched buttons. Okay, we're gonna go with real buttons. All right, fess up, you guys. Who has a button bag this big? Oh, Miss Karen, you have to put sugar in your spaghetti sauce. It's yummy. It's a sickness, isn't it? I mean, and this isn't the only one. I've got more bags and more jars. And are you like me? I go into the thrift store. I don't need any more buttons. I go into the thrift store. There's bag buttons over there. I need them, so I buy them. I don't need them. Yes, this is an unnecessary button stash. Glad to know I'm not the only one. Karen, I think when we cook spaghetti sauce, we usually do like 2 cans. We use Hunt's just plain Hunt's tomato sauce in a can. The can's about yay tall. We do 2 of those. And I would say, and the producer can answer me, I'm going to say we put at least 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup of sugar in that. I'm thinking. Oh, no, the producer's saying he doesn't know how much, just a taste. I mean, you could start out with a couple tablespoons and see how much, or see how sweet you like it. Miss Tamara, you still here? Since we're talking about spaghetti sauce. Maybe she's not still here. Yes. So, you know, even in St. Clairsville and even out here in Barnesville, people go on about the Roosevelt and about their spaghetti. I don't like it. So I want to know, you living in Bel Air, if the Roosevelt is good spaghetti to you. Just for poops and giggles. Miss Tamara, do you like the Roosevelt and their spaghetti? Because, like, I know so many people who just live and die by the Roosevelt spaghetti. And the hubby and I don't like it. And for those who don't, you know, aren't around here, the Roosevelt is this little Italian place. It was better back in the day. Yeah, I know so many people that just, like, you know, that spaghetti's the bomb, but it doesn't have sugar in it. I'm trying to find some colorful buttons, and I think I'm just making a mess. And I need small buttons. Oh, what is it about buttons that is so fascinating? And some of these buttons, because this was my Aunt Mary's original button stash. And like this one's in here. And she passed away about 20 years ago. No, I don't like that Roosevelt spaghetti. Shame on me. But I know people that go down to Bel Air for the Sons of Italy. Do you do the Sons of Italy? Because heck, even my mom does the Sons of Italy. Guys, I'm sorry. Yes, Aunt Mary is real. If I told you the story about my Aunt Mary, I'm always afraid I'm going to offend somebody. But true story about that Aunt Mary was my grandma's sister. And she was the only one out of my grandma and her sisters that drove. And she drove this little, it was some 1980s red, you remember the Chevettes? Aunt Mary, not a Corvette, but a Chevette. Aunt Mary drove a little red Chevette. And like I said, she was the only one out of her sisters that drove. So it was my grandma, my Aunt Mary, my Aunt Helen, and my Aunt Annie. And Aunt Annie lived in Cleveland. And Aunt Annie, she worked the counter. She worked the food counter at a department store called Grant's. And she did that for over 40 years. Hey, Cousin Sandy. And Aunt Annie was like 4'11", and she was very proud that she was a good waitress at Grant's. But my thing about my Aunt Mary is, and that Aunt Mary smoked like a chimney. So did my Aunt Helen. But Aunt Mary had a lazy eye. And as a child, this freaked me out. Because I never knew if Aunt Mary was looking at me. So I tended to be very shy of Aunt Mary. But yeah, whenever Aunt Mary died, she had all kinds of sewing stuff. So I got quilts, I got fabric, I got these buttons, I got a Singer sewing machine. And I can't believe I'm still digging in these dang buttons. But yeah, that was back in the day whenever, like I said, my grandma and her 3 sisters, and it was funny too because my Aunt Helen and my Aunt Mary lived in the same house, but it was a duplex. So that was in itself kind of a funny thing. But they never liked to go to the mall. And then, like I said, my Aunt Annie lived in Cleveland, so she would, and my grandma worked for the school. She was a lunch lady. So she was always off in the summer. So my Aunt Annie would come down from Cleveland in the summer, and those four sisters would hang out, and that was trouble, those four sisters together. But after my Aunt Mary died, her being the only one that drove, guess who got to drive the ladies around during the summer whenever Aunt Annie came home? Me. Nice, Karen. Yeah, I always wanted to learn how to knit. So yeah, like during my high school years, that was my job, was to entertain the old ladies during the summer. And why do I call my husband the producer? Well, because we have a studio here, and he works behind the scenes, and he does the videos and does the moderation and all that stuff like a producer would. So we call him the producer. He's only producer whenever I'm live. When I'm not live, he's my deadbeat husband. No. That is absolutely not true, and y'all know that. So after half an hour, I have gotten 3 buttons. Thank you. I would say if Tamara's still on here, she would understand this too. Whenever my aunts were all home during because my 2 aunts lived in Bel Air. And they were always making me come down there, and we'd have to go to Regus's to eat. Barb, my grandma apparently tried to drive once, and it scared the heebie-jeebies out of her, and she actually drove into their fence on their property and never drove again. Miss Carrie, if you mix up when you're mixing up your coffee stain, if you say it's too strong, add more water. That'll dilute it down. But I think the hubby, the producer, put up what we put up there, because we mix up a big thing of coffee stain like this, and we'll do a test on a scrap piece of muslin, and if it looks too dark, we'll add more coffee to it. If it's not dark enough, no. If it's too dark, we add more water. After doing the test on the little scrap. If it's not dark enough, we add more coffee. I never measure. Sandy, I don't know when our next auction will be, because we really don't have much made. Yes, Tamara, that place was awesome. When I look back on it, that was actually funny that I ran around with these little old women. And yeah, they never wanted to go to the mall. We'd always have to stay down and go to the little mom and pop stores, like go to Woolworth, and you know, they'd like to go to Ben Franklin, all that stuff. Hearts, I'd have to take them to Hearts, and I have to take them to Big Wheel. Karen, that's always going to happen. With having the spot on the back of it, you can't avoid that. I don't find, unless it really bothers you, that it bothers anybody. Oh, Ben Franklin, that place was the best. And I remember as a kid, we had a Ben Franklin uptown. And I would go back, and they had the best toy section. So I'd go back there, and I was always looking at Barbie stuff. And dreaming. So we're going to add these buttons. We're going to put some buttons on the front here. I don't know if the parchment paper would help or not, because I still think it's going to, whenever you, how do I explain this? Whenever you've coffee stained your doll, whenever you put it down, all the moisture in it is naturally, by gravity, going to go to the bottom. So whatever's laying on the pan, that is naturally, by gravity, where all the coffee stain is going. So I think even if you put parchment paper down, you're still gonna get that. I laughed too, because I was thinking about Barbies, and when I was a kid and whatnot, you know, I loved Barbies. I always wanted, you know, the Barbie dream house, and you know, all the little accessories and stuff. And you know, I didn't get them, but I will say that I did other things. Dampen paper towels and put my Snowman temperature oven. I've never tried that. Yeah, the clothes do cover the spots you get on the body, but you're still gonna get that spot on the head. I've got a knot. I've got a knot here. I've got to pull this out because I've got a knot. I think it depends on what you're making too, because you know, if you're making really primitive stuff and selling it, I don't know if you're selling it or keeping it for yourself, but if you're making really primitive stuff and you're selling it, I mean, the really primitive people like that dark stuff and the bake marks, and that's right, Marcy. That's an idea too, Carrie. I don't have any trees though. Hey, Smidge. Yeah, I like the... Yeah, stupid me a couple years ago, because I used to decorate more primitive. And stupid me a couple years ago, whenever we moved to a different house, I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna do this house primitive. I'm gonna make it more clean looking and just have more mainstream looking stuff. So I got rid of all my stuff, which I could kick myself in the butt for, because I really would like to have more of that stuff now. Awesome, Karen. Somebody asked me earlier about an auction, and is that if I do auctions, do you, because I can get handmade stuff by other artists, is that of interest to you, or are you only wanting per se to purchase stuff that I make if I was to have auctions? Is anybody interested in me selling items from other artists, or only stuff that we make? Just ours? Both? So I have put 3 buttons on the front of this snowman. And I see where I stitched them through the back. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do his wings now. No, actually, we don't ship outside the U.S. Sad part about it is, with everything that we have going on, I don't have a lot of time to make stuff. But if you're just joining us, we're working on a snowman ornament, and we've already done the body. And I'm going to do his wings next. And the wings, because we made the snowman out of muslin, and then we did the wings out of Osnaburg. And here again, we traced that wing pattern onto doubled Osnaburg. And we sewed all the way around. We didn't leave a hole for turning or anything. Thank you. I love the producer. He and I have a thing, if you didn't notice. So, sewed all the way around these. And you don't have to do this if you don't have pinking shears, but I'm going to cut out around our wings with pinking shears. Oh, thank you, Pamela. So I cut out around my wings, and I'm going to paint these a mustard color. And I'm actually, because we had watered down the paint with this, but for the wings, I'm actually going to leave the paint as is because I want a little bit of, this is true, Karen. I want to leave the paint 100% because it's going to stay thicker and it's going to give us a little bit more rigidity with our wings so they stand up better. Yes, I'm working on some Annie dolls, and when I get those finished, I will be putting those on Etsy. So this paint that I have, it's called Golden Brown, and it is Deco Art Crafters Acrylic. It's called Golden Brown, but it is the most wonderful mustard color. And I'm going to paint these wings off to the side just so I'm not messing up the paper right in front of myself. I tend to price my stuff kind of just what the going rate is, like with other sellers. I mean, of course, there's really popular sellers out there that can get a lot more out of their stuff just because of name value, but I would, if I was just starting out selling, I would probably look, it depends too if you're selling online. Thank you. But I would, if you're selling online, I would look at other sellers and see what they're selling their stuff for, and try to be competitive, with the pricing. It's like, I feel like too, like primitives in some senses went out for a few years, and I feel like they're coming back. And I feel like primitives are picking up a new audience. And I don't know if any of you who like sell are noticing that or not. Yes. Your stuff is very nice. Or am I thinking no. You say, I think I follow you on Facebook, and your stuff is very nice. Yeah, primitives, they do seem to be coming back. I'm interested too. Like, does any of the things that are made like with the glow forge, do you guys like that stuff? Not that I'm going out and starting that, but I see that there's some sellers now like trying to do primitive pieces. Nice. The primitive pieces with the glow forge. No, okay. And honestly, that's good to know. There are a lot of people doing glow forge. The glow forge, it's a wood laser cutter. So it makes wood stuff, but it's very detailed. I mean, it is a nice machine. But kind of the reason I asked is because I had another person who does the glow forge. They were copying a couple of my embroidery designs, my hand-drawn designs, and they made, some pieces out of it. And I mean, they were cute. They weren't like primitive, but they were cute. Oh, thank you, Nicole. You saw that, Barb? But I mean, they were cute pieces, but they weren't something that looked like somebody who decorates primitive are gonna seem more like a country craft. Is that Michelle that asked about... Michelle, did you have any more questions about sewing? Because I get a lot of emails about ladies saying they can't sew, so they can't buy our patterns because they can't sew. And basically I was wanting to do that tutorial because Nicole, who is here now, Nicole is a perfect example. She was intimidated to try to do primitive crafting, even though she liked it, because she didn't think she could sew. But then, like, to just show her that it's just a simple straight line, she's making stuff that's beautiful. So I'm not sure what else I would teach on a sewing class. Thanks, Susan. Hi, Nikki. Really, Barb? Because your work looks like you've been doing it a long time. Well, I'm glad you guys do well with selling your stuff. That's awesome. We mostly just sell on Etsy. We do have a website, chestnutjunction.com. Awesome, Nicole. Sandpaper. So we've got our painted wings. Oh, thank you, Karen. I'm not good at sewing. I can sew a straight line. You know. Yeah, you kind of do have to get a feel for the pinched nose, but it eventually comes to you. Hey, Tammy. Oh, thank you, Karen. So we sanded our wings, and now I'm going to coffee stain them. Oh, thanks, Nicole. Well, you will have to try them out, Miss Michelle. Karen, I think we all do. You probably have had our patterns. I mean, some of our patterns are, I know, go back to at least 2004. So that's 20 years. Oh, well, we're gonna, no, we'll wait on that. So I've coffee stained our our wings here. We had a sewing, we had a pattern line before 2004, but that actually was done under another publisher. And then we just decided to publish them ourselves. Back in the day, whenever you see people posting my full patterns in different languages on Etsy. Huh. The e-patterns. Like the digital download e-patterns. Thank you, Tamara. I didn't know that. Yeah, I've seen it on Pinterest too. And I try to, I have tried. That's why I'm coming to a place now that I'm older. I can't do anything about it. People take your stuff. Because just like you said, you can go to sites on the internet and download my patterns for free. And I'm just kind of at a place in life where I'm just tired of feeling like I'm allowing myself to be used by other people. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start coming live and just sharing, you know, what we do. Oh, thank you, Nicole. Oh, definitely. I mean, you put anything out there, somebody's going to copy it. Just like I told you guys that, like, the price of my e-patterns, I had made my e-patterns that price because, you know, growing up the way I did and not having a whole lot of self-confidence, I just never thought I was as good as everybody else. So I'm like, you know, I'm going to sell my patterns cheap because I just, my stuff is not good. I took our embroidery patterns off of Etsy simply because we're getting copied so badly. We are making a snowman angel ornament. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, the prices of my patterns. So I was, you know, many years ago, I was selling my e-patterns at $1.99 because like I said, I didn't think my stuff was good enough because I didn't have a lot of self-confidence. But then, little by little, other people started copying it, and then they were copying my, you know, designs and copying my price point. So, like I said, it doesn't matter what you do. If you put it out there, somebody is going to copy it. Oh, thank you. It is, Vicky. Oh, thank you, Michelle. All right. And if you guys are just joining us, this is our free pattern sheet for tonight. It's for the snowman body, which is here. And we sewed him together. We painted him white and added 3 little buttons. Oh, you got to be kidding, Marlene. No, that wouldn't happen with me. Well, and Karen, there gets to, I think it's gotten to the point now where is there any really original ideas left? You know, I think we all can tweak things a little bit here and there, but I think generally a lot of it looks the same anymore. And like the importers, I mean, if you guys look at the imports are looking, sometimes it's hard to tell those imports. But anyway, if you didn't, I don't know if the producer just put this up, but if you guys are just joining us, this is the free pattern sheet for tonight. Oh, thank you, Miss Karen. I appreciate it. Yes, if I stitched, I would have made X's. It's hard for I mean, I don't know any crafters myself that do returns. I mean, we're not big box stores. We're counting on that money, you know, whenever we sell it, we bought the materials, we've made it, we're counting on that money once we sell it. I mean, like, it's spent already. So I don't know anybody that would, you know, even take returns back on their handmaids. So I'm going to stitch. Let's add the nose. Let's do that first. I've got a toothpick here. I've got a toothpick, and I'm just going to snip it to give it a little blunt end, and then snip the other end, and we are going to paint it orange. Yeah, you can't take you really can't take stuff back. You gotta shop in your, well, that's neat. I've always thought that'd be something neat to do. There's a lady that lives not too far from me who does primitives. Her back to our cabin. Her name is Bonnie. Have you guys followed her page, back to our cabin, and she does primitives. But they do a lot of, the reason I mention her, she's got a shop in her house just like you do, Marlene, or you did. But she does the you know, really primitive stuff. And they make the neatest cabins. Exactly, Vicky. So I'm going to paint our little toothpick orange. Hey, Miss Susan. But even for you guys that just like, I don't know how many are on here. How do you ship without breaking his nose? Well, I will stick his nose kind of flat to his face, not straight out. But if I was to ship it, I would probably ship it in a box and put a lot of tissue paper around his face to give him ample space there in the box. I haven't made those penguins in a long time. But I was going to say, you know, for those of you, if you're just starting out with primitives and you're wanting to sell them or whatnot, always look around in your area to see if you've got a little antique mall or a consignment mall. Yeah, that isn't it nuts? Yeah, that's nuts. And sad part for me, I don't have much patience for that. We did a piece of toothpick. You selling an antique mall, Carrie? That is awesome. I think that I love you know, for you guys to find venues to sell your items. I think I'm going to nice, Karen. I have to go back for that one. I can't see the whole, I can't see it. Somebody said they sell in a shop in Lancaster, Ohio.
You need that for a pile of home.
What's that?
You need that for a pile of home.
Sure. Thank you. Hi, Christina. Yeah, if you can find a booth or someplace to sell your stuff. And early on with my business, I would make a bunch of stuff and just get in the car and go to the shops that sold primitives, and I would just be like, hey, are you interested in buying wholesale off of me? And I hardly ever came home with anything left. I mean, I literally would go to shops, excuse me, and sell them my wares, and I would ask them, you know, if they were interested in a particular item, because I'd make more of that one particular thing. And then usually they would ask me to bring in more holiday stuff. Did you, Pamela? Etsy's a good place to sell. I do think that you have to build a clientele there. So like establishing like your Facebook page and getting people to go to your Etsy shop is key. We have a Shopify too, Barb. Yeah, it's pretty normal to take up to 30%. And if they're taking 30%, I'd be a little leery if they were trying to charge you booth fee too. Well, Etsy is picking up a whole new group of makers. So that's why sales are getting a little iffy on Etsy, because there's a lot more people making now. But I always say, if the good Lord intends it to be, you will get sales. Yeah, Carrie, we're in a place that the fees aren't too bad. Trying to figure out how I want to do this. I think I might just put an X for each eye. Oh, well, that's good, Christina, because most places charge you a monthly rent and the commission. And Miss Pamela, yeah, once you get, if you get yourself a customer that actually we sell more like antique-y, vintagey things in our booth at this point, because I haven't had time to make handmade stuff. I'm gonna give him some stitched eyes here. Hey, Debbie. Does anybody sell on eBay anymore? Nice, Barb. I saw, because I knew there was, what's it called? 10 hens. But there's another one that has popped up. What is it called? Shop Hop. We did the fairs and the shows and whatnot years ago, but we live hop. Live hop marketplace. Has anybody sold there? Miss Barb, I bet you do good doing a live. So I've got his eyes on here, and I am going to coffee stain him. Mr. Producer, could I have some cinnamon? Thank you.
Short naps here too.
I'm gonna make this guy look a little bit more primitive. So I'm brushing him with some coffee. You ought to try going live. I mean, honestly, the first couple times you do it, you are going to be scared, but you just have to do it scared. It will get better. And it may not seem like it, but I have anxiety. I have complex PTSD. Look that up sometimes. It's CPTSD. I have that. But I heard a quote. Is it a quote? Is it a mantra? Here within the past, look at me. I have, you know what I mean? I've gained 70 to 80 pounds in the last year from medication I have to take, you know, but so I heard this phrase here within the last month or two, and it was, be unapologetically yourself. And that really hit me hard, because I'm like, am I going to put the Santa in? The producer is who takes care of the YouTube, so he needs to get that done. But producer has a demanding full-time job too, and sometimes he doesn't get to do stuff until the weekend. But anyway, getting back to what I said about being unapologetically yourself. It's the total truth. You don't owe anybody anything for anything that you are. Any way you think, any way you look, nothing. You don't owe anybody anything. You know, and if you can get that in your head and stop worrying what people think, there's always going to be somebody that doesn't like you. Always. I'm sprinkling some cinnamon on here. Yes, you just have to be you. Because you know what? At the end of the day, and it just sounds so easy to say, other people's opinions honestly have really no bearing on your life. They don't. They don't pay your bills. They don't not pay your bills. You know, you just can't worry about what other people think. I hope this still looks like Snowman when we get finished with it, because I've put some cinnamon on it. I wanted it to look older and more primitive. That's why I put the cinnamon on it. And I even think, biblically, you know, Jesus was not a people pleaser. You know, if you're a believer, like I said, Jesus wasn't a people pleaser. When people didn't accept him, he shook the dust off of his feet and went to the next place. You know, so we just kind of have to be that way. You know what I mean? With what other people think about us. Sheila. Exactly, Jana. Hi, Speckled Hen. Was he, Barb? That's true, Jan. I sincerely could write a book, and it's not like, woe is me, because that's not my attitude. I sincerely could write a book about all the nasty ways I've been treated in this life because of my body image. And it's all for nothing, really. I mean, those people don't care that they do or say those things. They just go about what they're doing. So you just kind of got to get to a place where just be you. And I know it's just all like that just sounds so cliche, but it just, you just kind of got to do it. Exactly, Alicia. That's true too, Jim. Sheila. I love it. Then you can tell I've been through many years of therapy. I don't. I'm probably going to offend people when I say this, but some people are just clueless. I mean, that's just how it is. That's funny, Marcy. I've always wanted to quilt, but it seems so complicated. So I'm going to rub our snowman here a little bit. But I put that, see, I put that cinnamon on him to make him look nice and grubby and old. That's the right attitude to have, Jan. Right, Marcy. So I still have our, excuse me, I still have our little nose here, and I'm going to put that I snipped a little hole. If you can see, I snipped a little hole for his nose. And then let's try to be very neat with the glue gun. I don't have the patience for quilting. It's like you do, like tonight we do a primitive project. You have it done in an hour or so. A quilt, that's a commitment. And I have a hard time with that. Thanks, Tamara. So I'm going to go ahead and put cinnamon on these wings too. You know what I really like about quilting is the big bed quilts are really pretty, but I totally dig the little mini quilts with like the pictures. I'm going to use a little bit more coffee to get these, because these are pretty dry, to get this grubbied up. Can you guys see? Thank you. See, I'm just adding a little bit more coffee, coffee to get this wet enough just to kind of schmooze that cinnamon around. Oh, cross stitch is very popular. punch needle. Y'all do punch needle? I like that too. I don't know how long the scent would last. I don't think it's going to last a long time. I'm basically doing it to make it look grubby and old. There are some very talented cross-stitch designers out there right now. You do rug hooking too, Janet? I love that. I always tell hubby though, I'm too poor to do rug hooking, so I have to do the needle punch. Because wool is darn expensive. Well, then there's yarn punch too. Oh yeah, the primitive rug hooking is beautiful. Has anybody ever tried to like do the primitive rug hooking with like the wool yarn? Oh, I'm sure that wool is, it's beautiful. I mean, I love wool. It's beautiful. I keep thinking I hear somebody coming. Like, I like going to Joann's and you know, Hobby Lobby and whatnot because I love fabric. But there is nothing like going to an actual quilt shop and seeing those specialty fabrics that you only see at a quilt shop. And then they'll have the rugs and the wool and... Oh, the rug hooking is fun. It could be Mooch knocking on the window. Huh? Oh. That is an awesome idea, Debbie. I'm with you there, Carrie. This probably wouldn't do this with a hair dryer, but because this is a heat tool, this is giving me a nice, like a nice singe because it's so hot. Alicia. Can you see how that gave me like a nice burn on there from this heat tool? I'll have to look at that. Oh, thank you, Alicia. I did know that, yes, it would give it a burn. I didn't know how good, because it's actually a heat tool and not a hair dryer. I know, I do that too. I get too many projects started at one time. So I've got a piece of homespun here that we can do for the scarf. And it's just like a piece of cranberry homespun. Thank you. And I'm starting out with a piece here that's 16 inches. And guys, if I got myself some, you know, little things to work with in here that aren't in my main sewing room, some little doodads and gadgets, I have added some stuff to the Etsy shop. Plus the felting needles. My felting needles finally came in. So that's chestnutjunction.etsy.com, and those would be in the supplies section. So I'm just going to dunk my... Thank you, Vicky. I'm going to dunk my little homespun scarf in here. Oh my, you have a spinning wheel? Wow. See, I think that'd be awesome. You need to come on here and do spin wool. That would be so neat. Yeah, I wanted them to look a little bit more primitive. You're welcome. I had a bigger one because I think this is 350 watts. So it's not even as hot as my hair dryer, which I think is 1200, but it gets so much hotter. I mean, just I don't know, it concentrates it or something, but this thing literally gets hot. I don't know. I've never used the stamping or the embossing. Oh, you don't have to do that, Karen. I just think it would be neat watching you spin wool. Do you dye wool too? That's awesome. I mean, that is an art. And I mean, it's an art I appreciate. I respect that. I think it would work on that, Janet. Did you, Marcy? You like the way they turned out? I need to get all that stuff done up into patterns and post it on Etsy. But it's just things have been so busy. Like I said, I've got things with my mother going on, and so we have got our little snowman, and I'm going to tie his scarf on before I put his wings on. So that way I can situate the scarf where I want it. And I think I'm gonna cut the scarf uneven just to make it look more primitive. Oh, awesome. Then I don't know if I want to put a bell on here or if I want to put a star on here. I think the bell's going to look better. Thank you. Thank you, guys. So right now, I do need to restock a couple sizes of bells in the Etsy shop. I do have them, and I have them here. I just need to get them unpacked and put into inventory so I can put them in the Etsy shop. So if you go to the Etsy shop and you don't see the 1/2-inch bells or the 1/4-inch bells, just keep trying back, because I did get more in. That mooch. The neighbors hate that we call him Mooch. They're like, you need to call him something cuter. And I'm like, I don't need, he knows that now. He knows his name is Mooch. So I don't even know what we would call him now that he knows something that rhymes with Mooch. Like maybe we can call him Smooch. Come on. Okay, so now we got the bell and the pin on there. Are cats still as popular as they were before? Got some rusty wire. Well, let's go ahead and we'll glue his wings on. I don't know if you can see me doing this or not. Just putting some hot glue on the back here. I love the little primitive mice. And cats always do seem to be popular. Crows are always popular too. And stars. And then I need to put his little halo on him. Karen. Thank you, Kat. So I'm going to cut a piece of wire. I'm going to go about 8 inches on this wire. And this is the rusty wire that I sell in my Etsy shop. And I'm going to turn the tip of this wire over. I always do that just so nobody is going to poke their eye out. And then I just go and loop it around. And then just, I don't know if you can see it or not, just twist it around itself to keep it in place. Thank you, Tamara. And then I give it a pinch just to secure it. And then I've got a big needle here. At least I thought I did. I know I did. Here it is. So whenever I tell you to use a large needle for a pilot hole, that's what I use, is a large needle. And I poke a pilot hole in the top of the head. And then I press this down in here. And if you find that this piece is too long, like we've cut it too long and it doesn't want to go down in there, you can always take it out and trim it up so it's shorter. I'm gonna hit that with a tiny bit of glue. I want it to be an ornament. So let's just tie a piece of, well, I've got some right here. I've just got a little bit of thread on my needle, and I'm just going to attach a hanger on here so he is a Christmas tree ornament. And there we go. Our little snowman angel ornament. You probably could shrink those wings down if you wanted to. I mean, I like it. I think it turned out cute. But if you wanted to shrink the wings down, I could see that. Well, thank you, guys. And I did get everything on there, I think. Okie dokie, guys. That's our last live for the week, so we won't be seeing you again till Monday. Nice, Janet. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Marcy. Thanks, Barb. Thanks, Karen. Thanks, you guys. Oh, come on, Marlene. Not a problem at all. Thanks, Karen. Thanks, Debbie. Thanks, Susan. Thanks, Barb. So we'll be live again Monday. Thanks, Rhonda. Again, I had I had gotten a couple things in the Etsy shop that you guys have been asking for, and one of those being the felting needles. I don't know if I mentioned that one already, but we did get the felting needles. I was only able to get a few. So we have the felting needles in the Etsy shop, chestnutjunction.etsy.com. And I did get more bells in today. So I will be loading up more of the 1/4-inch bells and the 1/2-inch bells, because we were out of stock on those. And I do have more tags on order. You guys have a good evening too. All right. It's always such a pleasure and a blessing, sincerely, to spend this time with you guys. Each one of you is appreciated. I'm glad that you're here. I just count it as a blessing to be able to spend the evenings with you guys, and I feel honored that you would spend this time with me. So I hope that producer, can you throw up that link one more time? So I hope that you download your little snowman pattern, and I'll thank you, Cindy. Thanks, Barb. Yeah, I hope you have fun making your little ornament. You have a good weekend too. There it is. He threw up that link one more time. And for those of you that are having the hard time, Night Marlene, with downloading that pattern, you can always message the Chestnut Junction page, and I will attach that download there for you in the in Messenger. Alrighty? Alright, you guys have a blessed evening. We will see you Monday. You have a good weekend. Bye-bye.